Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been rotting our screens and indeed our minds. Shout out to everyone who subscribes to this podcast on either Apple, YouTube, or Spotify. A big shout out to all you guys, but a bigger shout out to the patrons, the people who pay for this podcast, the Freemasons on £3.99 a month. They're not hearing adverts. You are going to hear adverts in this episode. The patrons are not. They're also getting an extra episode of this podcast just like this every single week and access to the Rock Bar. They're not getting quite as much as the Illuminati. Top tier patrons, £5.99 every single month. All of that good stuff, plus a free hat on their heads. A big shout out to Eugene, who runs our Twitter account, Sent by God. He now has a beautiful baby boy who I believe might actually be God, and a big wink and a kiss to the ladies and the homosexuals who might actually be celebrating Pride Month this month, who are, in my opinion, the most gorgeous ladies and homosexuals who celebrate Pride Month in all of the United Kingdom. And I'm here in the Spotify HQ studios with Jake Farrell.
Nate Bagazzi to you, Nate Bagazzi to the listeners, Nate Bagazzi to anyone celebrating Pride Month. What a month that is, by the way. And yeah, Nate Bagazzi especially to Spotify, doing us a big favour by letting us record in this beautiful studio on this fine day in London.
Talking about Pride Month, I've got a few fellas who often I sell like used socks and pants to.
Sure.
They know me from the internet.
Yeah, it's good to get that in the first 50 seconds.
They pay me to send them my used socks or underwear, yeah. And one of them...
Are they still... that community's still going, is it?
I got a couple of stragglers who are still on board, yeah. And one of them wants me to... he wants me to masturbate and then film myself shooting into the pants and then send them in the post. I don't know about that. Because I think the thing with that, because obviously you wouldn't know it's me. Do you know what I mean? In the sense of like, it would just be a camera angle of some pants with something, you wouldn't even know what's going into it.
Yeah.
And I could fake it and I could also AI it. But you don't want to rip anyone off in Pride Month, do you? What do you think about What do you think about that? What do you do? Internet, am I the arsehole?
For AI.
Am I the arsehole for throwing lotion on some pants and sending it to a pervert? Am I the arsehole?
I did hear on another podcast the other day, they were talking about like the first minute. YouTube, it always listens to the first minute in order to know where to place you in the SEO, to like whether to like give you to other listeners.
I don't know what to do with that.
What do you mean?
Because I don't think it's fair to say no to this guy.
No.
I'm happy to send him dirty socks. I'm happy to send him dirty pants, right?
Yeah, that's very big of you.
Well, he pays me.
Yeah.
He pays me.
Well, you're happy to provide the service that you're being paid to do then.
In terms of the economy, everyone on either side of that transaction is happy.
The economy?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Sorry?
So in the same way that a small business is happy to do the coffee and you're like, yeah, support small businesses.
Right.
He's supporting me. He's getting a good product.
Yeah.
I'm not paying tax.
You're doing some small business. For him.
Yeah. Small enough business, taxman doesn't need to know about it.
Yeah.
But now, you know,
there's privacy.
A video
concerns.
of me shooting into the
Stop
pants.
saying. Why are you saying that? Oh my God. This is like one of those, you know, that like kind of, yeah, it's just insane. We're in this beautiful studio. They've been so nice to us. They've been so welcoming. It's like when like someone kind of, you know, in like a film like from the 50s or something, and someone will go to like university and leave their hard Scrabble mates behind, and then they just turn up on the campus. I can't remember what film I'm thinking of, and then they just start being like all like crude and stuff, and they're like trying to fit in. I'm with my new Spotify mates, and you were just boiling around going, "Anyone wondering about me shooting into pets? What's that matter? What's that all about?" Look, you're a sex worker. And I support sex workers.
I am.
This is a sex positive podcast.
For all the kind of like woke pink hairs who want to march up and down saying justice for sex workers, just bear in mind when you're saying that, you're actually talking about me.
Yeah.
You're actually talking about a man with an ice gem haircut where he's got a SponCon hair transplant from Turkey with the assistance of a true Geordie. Yeah. This is who you're supporting.
A true Geordie.
You know those t-shirts that Benedict Cumberbatch wore, like, this is what a feminist looks like. This is what a sex worker looks like. I had an interesting one the other day. I was talking about like, this is what a thing looks like. You're often
yeah, you are talking about that, to be fair. No one can say you're not talking about that. Go on. Yeah, this is great. I'm having a great time.
I had a fucking mad one the other day. I was doing a gig in Cardiff, and it's at a comedy club in Cardiff called the Glee Club, right? Great comedy club, big comedy club. And they it's like 300, 400 seater, and they'll get birthday parties, hen do's, stag do's, and that's when you're doing that on a Saturday night. Your thing is you go in and it's like, right, are there any stags in or any hen do's in? Is it a big group? Blah blah.
Like a pre-match report kind of
Yeah,
thing.
right. Who are we up against?
Yeah. What's the tactics
Who
of the
are we
other
up
team?
against? Yeah, that's it. Right, we're sending Jacob on first, but who are we up against?
Right.
And I remember Annabelle, who works, lovely girl. She came in and she was like, "Oh, there's a stag. There's a big stag do." And we were like, "Really? How bad?" She was like, "Yeah, they're pretty pissed." And we're like, oh. And I always worry in Wales because you're the Englishman in Wales, so you're on the back foot immediately.
Yeah.
And in Wales, you know, big rugby lads.
Yeah.
Like I can't tame them.
Can't mix it.
Do you know what I mean? You give me a stag do in London, a load of fucking clean shirts. We're gonna go to a strip club later.
Worst case scenario, Essex boys.
Exactly, I can handle.
You know where you stand with Essex boys.
In Wales, you got these fucking big, you know, fucking
fresh out the mines,
great white shark, big head men.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
singing "Bread of Heaven" all the time.
This is it. Yeah. So we were like, she was like, yeah, there's a big stag, and we're like, oh god. We're like, how bad are they? And she said to us, she goes, the stag is dressed up as a seagull. He has a full seagull costume.
Nice.
On, and he won't stop screaming.
Can I just say something? Men are class.
Yeah.
What was the?
Please stop. Please stop.
What was the corresponding? So, like, I know
this before the show had started.
Right.
Like an hour before the show had started. They
got there early.
Hammered.
Right. They got there early. So, what was the corresponding? Because I've seen it at the darts where it's like there's a pig, but then there's a load of butchers, and the butchers are chasing the pig.
Yeah,
he was just a seagull.
They were just in jeans and polo shirts, and he was a seagull. I don't know what the story was.
Daff has come as a seagull.
Yeah.
All right, what's the gag? There's no gag.
Yeah.
The gag is we fucking hate Daffeth. That's what the gag is.
Well, he's a seagull, isn't he?
He's a seagull. Oh yeah. Why is that funny? Has he got a history of bird watching in his family?
Do the noise again, David.
That's the gag.
I'm trying to find
Next.
it. But basically, everyone's going, oh, fuck. Oh, God, he's a seagull. Oh, he's screaming. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. Who are these people? Why do they come to comedy? Oh, my God.
I can think of anything worse to do on a stag.
I always think that. I always think, like, whenever there are, I mean, my stag has been organised for next, but I'm always like, it's like saying, do you want to go and do some gear at the cinema? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're there to listen and watch something else.
They're like diametrically opposed things, aren't they?
We're funny. We'll go to the comedy. No, that's not how it works. Like, if you're funny, just stay at the pub. Like, this is for people who aren't funny. This is for losers. This is like when I'm doing like MC and I'm like, what do you do for a living? It's like, well, I'm an accountant and my wife works in PR. I'm like, yeah, you should come to comedy. Like, fuck your date, right? You should be paying for us. Whereas like Davith the seagull, like you're good in spoons, man.
100%.
Like you're good on the street.
You could charge.
You don't need this.
Yeah.
You don't need me and Paul McCaffrey. You're great. Anyway, we're like the gig starts and it's Peter Flanagan, Irish comic at first, and he's a few times he's like doing stand up, but he's a great stand up, Pete. But he's quite slow, and here's some observations I've heard, and he's going. And he's like, you've got to.
Oh, he carried on during the show.
Yeah. And I'm on first. I'm opening act, and you're always taking a bit of a bullet. That's the hardest spot.
Yeah, first through the door at the ambush.
I've done it all, and going on first is hard.
First off the ships on D-Day.
And I'm watching Pete being like, lads, just shut the fuck up, and I'm like, oh, here we fucking go. This is gonna be a nightmare.
And I guess for those uninitiated, either because they don't do stand up or don't watch stand up very often, there's a fine line you have to balance between. If you get too angry or you kind of lose it and tell people to shut the fuck up,
substitute.
You kind of look like an idiot. Yeah. And so that's a tough line for Pete to walk in and trying to set the room for you to actually come and do some stand-up.
This is... So...
How did he manage it?
Well, I walk on stage and I'm like, here we go. And I do about 30 seconds of material. And then literally one of the stag do shouts out, he wanks himself awake! And then a couple of the other group went, love the podcast, buddy. And I was like, fuck, of course that's who it is. Of course they've come for me.
Yeah, that's so obvious. Who knew? The guys who made their mate dress up as a seagull.
And I will say they were lovely, and they were great for my spot.
Yeah,
like shout out the boys. And
God, you got lucky. Yeah, if they were Mike and Vittorio fans or they were Have a Word fans, you'd have been fucked.
Yeah. But no, they were.
They'd come to see King Rotter.
I don't know if all of them were, but a couple
there was enough
of them
of
were.
them.
And I also I'm not sure they came because they knew I was on. I think it might have just been a
happy
coincidence
coincidence
that they booked the comedy and I happened to be one of the acts. But I had a great set. back and forth with them a bit, but it's just so funny. I went back into the green room and there's like the three other comedians, and they're like, "So that's you listening to your podcast."
Your fucking fault. It's like your family members. Also, like, imagine being the guy on that stag who's like, "We're gonna go to the comedy club. We're gonna fucking shout the whole night. I can't fucking wait." And then, like, from down the line, one of your mates goes, "No shouting during this bit. We love this guy. He wanks himself awake. Show a bit of fucking respect."
The seagull's about to go. The seagull. You fucking shut the fuck up.
Shut up, Daffy. Have a breadcrumb. Sorry to the people of Cardiff for the rotters coming out.
Hey, no, they were great. They were fucking brilliant, and I actually think the rest of that audience were a bit shit. To be honest, I like to see
dead vibe. Otherwise,
but the only reason why one of them followed me on Instagram.
Right,
big rugby fella.
Oh yeah,
I was trying to find his name today. I can't find. But he's just a big fucking hench Welsh guy. When I say big, it's like the size of a fucking door frame.
Right,
but he's got a big gay following.
Okay.
And I don't know if he's monetizing it. I think he's an ex-rugby player who does personal training.
Right.
He's got...
So it's like incidental gay stuff.
I think it might have started that way, but I will say...
It's a wink, 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 nudge, nudge area.
I think this guy's aware of what he's doing when he's putting up pictures of himself in a swimming pool.
It's gone from wink, wink, nudge, nudge to wink, wink, tug, tug.
We need to stop because he will break my head. Look, we need to get into it. I think when this episode comes out, we will be doing a free trial on our Patreon. There's a really good Patreon episode coming out tomorrow. Yes, this is going to come out on Thursdays. Yeah, there's a really good Patreon episode coming out tomorrow. We've decided that it's good enough. We filmed it in here. We want people to see it. So there's a free trial going on Patreon at the moment. You get a week's free. If you sign up now, you'll get this and the Rot Bar, which is the Wednesday following this. I think I'm saying the Rot Bar is going to be
the 18th.
On Wednesday, June the 18th. So try and sync it up with that. If not, in the 7 days you've got your free trial of Patreon, you'll be able to watch all the old stuff, the 2 Rot Bars that have already happened. There's loads of good stuff. Get on there, enjoy it, squeeze all the juice out of free trial, and then give us your money. Also, big shout out to Zach Southall, the personal trainer who's been training me. Jake won't do it because he's a pussy. I do it. I love it. I can't train at the moment after this stupid fucking hair transplant that's given me this stupid ice gem haircut. I like Zach Southall. Check him out. Now, this week, ladies and gentlemen, on the subject of hair transplants, we are talking about, I think, like when we started this podcast, it was just people that we watch a lot.
Yeah.
Since then, you guys throw stuff at us. There's stuff that we can't ignore. We're looking people up. This guy is maybe the social media account that I watch the most out of my own personal choice.
Right.
This week, we are talking about life as a Zeph.
Before we get into the topic of this week's episode, Jacob, can I ask you a question, please?
Please.
Have you ever felt like the internet knows too much about you?
Yes, all the time. Every time I'm trying to browse, I always feel like somebody's watching me.
What a wonderful, beautiful voice you've got. Well, you don't need to worry about that anymore, Jacob. Do you know why?
Why?
Because you can get Surfshark VPN.
Surfshark VPN?
Yeah, Surfshark VPN. Now, what they can do is they can prevent all of that internet knowledge where you say something to your missus like, "Oh, I'd like to get a hair transplant in Turkey," and the next thing you know, you're getting all these targeted ads for hair transplants in Turkey. They're going to get rid of all that for you. They can get other stuff for you. They can make it so you don't get dynamic pricing when you're looking at flights, and they know you want to go on holiday and they start charging you extra money. You're a capitalist. That must appeal to you as a man.
That really appeals to me, man. Yeah, that would help.
Fan of money. That would really help you, wouldn't it? And also, on top of that, you're going to get access to unlimited devices with Surfshark VPN.
What, so I can get like my phone, laptop and iPad?
Yeah, just a bit, brother.
That's unbelievable.
And, I mean, it's a great product, so it's not going to happen. But if you did have any issues, when do you think you might want support?
Often in the middle of the night. That's when I'm using things to, I'll be watching like geo-locked content, American sports, 4 a.m, the Ohio Beavers versus the Barack Obama Beavers.
The two Beavers.
The Beaver teams,
the Beaver face-off.
And I'm going to need some help. So what, they have support 24/7?
Just a bit, yeah.
Whoa,
don't worry about that.
That sounds good.
That's 24/7. And also, once you've started using Surfshark VPN, you could use any of their other products as well. You could use Surfshark Search. I don't know why I picked that one.
Surfshark Search.
They've got a number of extra products, and not all of them have 3 S's on them.
But Surfshark Search, that's the way you could search the internet using Surfshark, and I assume there'd be like, I don't know, no pop-up ads, so you wouldn't be tracked, all that sort of thing?
Just a bit, yeah. That's their web browser, which is going to give you a clean and private search experience.
Oh my God, every time I'm browsing on the internet, I just wish it was a bit cleaner and a bit more private. Yeah. That's what I need.
I reckon some people that listen to this have got some dirty browsing experiences as well.
I don't know, it might not even be dirty. You just don't want someone looking over your shoulder every time you're trying to browse the web. This sounds perfect, Jake.
This does sound perfect. It's particularly good for me because I like to watch very arty documentaries that have been made by high-level documentarians from across the world using streaming services, and sometimes that content would be geo-locked. Not for me, not with Surfshark VPN. Yeah, exactly. The second singing piece on the advert. Great to see. Well, it's not just for us, Surfshark VPN, not just for you and I, it's for our listeners as well. They can get access to it with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. How good is that?
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's class. It's maybe too good for them.
So how do you get it?
Well, they can go to our link, surfshark.com/screenrot, or they can use the code screenrot at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark.
4 extra months on top of what they're paying for?
4 extra months.
That's amazing.
These guys are coming off the top rope. They're the real deal. Surfshark VPN. Go and get it. surfshark.com/screenrot.
Oi, get on this.
I do need to be kind of sherped through this one because this is not really my area of expertise.
I am worried that this is... we're going to look back on this one the same as we look at the Frost and Leo episode. The Frost and Leo episode, people don't know what I'm talking about a year ago when this podcast was a lot smaller, I found a man on the internet
who made cat noises.
Who doesn't have many followers.
Yeah.
He was just filming himself on the subway in New York. He'd sort of do a weird voice and say, "Mama feeling horny today."
Yeah.
And I was
trying some new stuff out, and it didn't make the act. It's not making the Edinburgh show. But...
Oh, well, let's do an hour on this lunatic. Turns out he wasn't a viral superstar. He was just a lunatic that we spoke about for an hour. He found the video and was like, "Hey guys, can I give you the full story? I'm not sure you're well enough,
thank
mate."
You.
But this guy is big. He's got like 1 million on TikTok.
Okay.
He's got hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers. Life as a Zeph. This guy.
What does Zeph mean? Is that his name?
I think it's his name.
Right. It's not life. That's not like a slang term for bald people.
So I know I keep looking at my phone, but I'm checking that now because I'm worried. No, it's not a slang term for bald people. His name's Zeph. That's his name. His name's Zeph.
Yeah. Okay. But you say life as a Zeph.
330,000. His name's Zeph Sanders.
Wow. What a name that is, by the way.
What a name. Zeph Sanders is. I don't think there's another word for this. He's a bald influencer.
He's a binfluencer.
He's a binfluencer. He's a binfluencer. Zeph has been bald. Was bald.
Will be bald again.
Well.
He's once and future bald. He's the King Arthur of baldness.
2 years ago, Zeph decided he doesn't want to be bald anymore. So he began the journey to regrow his hair.
Yes. By any means necessary.
Well, yeah. And we'll get into that. And my take on Zeph is sometimes baldness isn't what's going on in your head. Sometimes baldness is a state of mind. Sometimes you can have all the hair in the world and you will always be bald.
Oh, I don't know where the bell is. I didn't ring the bell.
Oh, we don't have a bell.
Oh, I'll insert a bell.
Fucking sort it out, Spotify. No. This guy, it's like...
Excuse me, love. We're about to go to the studio. Where'd you keep your bell? You know, like a little hotel bell. Where'd you keep that?
This guy can have a fucking ponytail. He would still be the baldest man on the planet. This guy's entire vibe is bald.
It's bald.
It does not fucking... And this guy has gone to the ends of the earth.
Right.
To try and get his hair back.
Yeah.
He's tried a wig. He's tried every bit of medication under the sun.
Yes.
He started cooking his own little potions and spraying them on his head. He's done everything. Then he has, as I've had, and I have to say, I am struggling with identifying as this human who's had this. Zeph has had a hair transplant. 13 days ago, I also had a hair transplant,
yes.
but I will not I'm not bald.
No.
I was not bald.
No.
I am not. And I guess I'm willing to... We've done a Patreon episode where we documented my hair transplant in Turkey.
In great detail.
people will be looking at me now, the state of my head and my hair now, being like, "You should have gone fucking bald, mate. That looks horrendous." I can't. I've still got a lot of scabs around the area, and I can't do much with my hair, and it's all. Look, I'm in recovery.
Go and watch on Spotify to have a look at the crust removal phase of Jacob's hair transplant.
On Spotify?
Yeah, go and watch it.
On
This
Spotify?
podcast. Remember?
Have I done cross removal on Spotify?
No, we're on this. What are you talking about?
Right.
Have you had a fucking stroke?
Oh sorry. What you're saying is go and watch. Click if you're listening to this on Spotify. Click the video option. You'll be able to see what my hair looks like.
Yes.
Sorry, when you say cross removal,
I haven't been on Spotify.
No, cross removal is actually a process I've been doing this morning.
Right.
Where I have to massage lotion into the crusts on my head.
You're mid-crust removal.
I'm doing a lot of cross removal at the moment. Cross removal has been quite a difficult process for me. After the scabs form on the top of your head, after having a hair transplant, you have to remove those scabs. Mine are really attached, and I'm struggling.
And you're attached to them.
Yeah. I'm worried that they've got my hair. Anyway, this life as a Zeph guy, we'll start with the first clip. This started a couple of years ago, right? And one thing with this guy, very similar to a lot of the Americans I think we covered, the Big Justice and the AJs of this world. So I need to sneeze. Pardon me. He's been trying to be a YouTuber,
right,
for many years,
and it's baldness that's got him.
Well, this is the thing. He was trying to be like a gaming influencer for a long time, like a streamer,
right?
And no one gave a shit.
Yeah.
Now that he's doing this,
yeah,
people give a shit.
Yeah.
People want to watch this.
Just trying to put myself in that mindset. Someone who was trying to do something earnest and artistic for quite a while, and then actually started doing something stupid and influencing
and embarrassing.
And that was the thing that everyone was interested in. I wonder what that feels like. That must really that must be the baldest feeling there is.
And that's when I realised I was bald.
I was the baldest man of them all.
I've got this thing. He put this up at the end of 2023, so it's a couple of years ago now. And this is what I find fascinating with this guy. The caption in this video, and we'll have to sort of narrate it because it's just he's a real TikToker.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? A lot of the videos, fast cuts,
stupid music,
and it's music and just text and. It's just loads of clips of what he got up to in 2023. But the caption is POV. You spent 2023 working on yourself. Now this is a real bugbear of mine. This is not the POV of someone who spent 2023 working on themselves. If this was the POV, it would be like a first-person shot. It'd be like seeing what he sees.
Yeah.
This is not POV.
No, this is the POV of someone watching someone who worked on themselves.
This is it. The caption should be POV. You're watching a bald man try and paint his hair back on.
Is the implication that he's looking in the mirror for the whole time?
So okay, you're correct to say that with this first shot. A lot of these, he's not looking into the camera as if it's a mirror. So I'm not having that. No, he is grammatically correct, and I am still the cleverest boy in first set in English at Samuel Whitbread Community College.
Right.
No, but and what he's like, he uses this language all the time. I'm working on myself. Yeah, I'm not accepting the person I was yesterday. I want to be a better person. It's like, you can say that if you're going to university. You can say that or therapy, or you're getting hench in the gym. You can't say that when you're spraying fucking rosemary oil on your head to try and not be bald anymore. This is life as a Zeph and how he spent 2023 working on himself. So in this one, he's sort of drawing hair on. He's derma rolling. He's got a silk hat. He's rubbing oil in. He's as the months tick by, we're watching different clips of him, and he's still bald, but there's kind of more hair. He's spraying some hairs on now. His mate is there. He will often do this. He'll screenshot comments he gets on TikTok saying, "Just give up and go bald, mate." He's
still bald.
He's still bald. He's
okay,
rubbing
now
the
we're getting a bit better. He's into May
There's
now.
a bit more bald. There's a bit more hair now. We're in the summer, June, July. He's had a haircut on the 9 hairs on his head. He's putting sort of hair powder on. He's having a photo shoot with some hair. He's going to the gym, which is completely irrelevant. And now we're in December, and he's kind of. This is my point. We're at the end of 2023. Zeph has worked on himself. Zeph technically has hair. would you agree with me, Jake, that Zeph is still bald?
I would say that he's more bald when he's got hair.
yeah. If, and I feel for this guy because I guess I wanted to use this episode as an opportunity for you and I to both talk about. We've both experienced hair loss of some kind in our lives, and I think you and I have both felt varying levels of insecurity as a result of that. Neither of us have become bald TikTok. I guess I'll go first. So I've got a high forehead, and I've learned that because everyone knows this already, but just to sort of, in case 3 of you don't follow us or whatever,
you stumbled across this, but you don't know the story.
Yeah, if you stumbled across this, and after I opened the episode by wondering whether I should wank in some pants for a perv on the internet, no, he's a good guy. If you've stuck around,
don't worry. Anyway, we're both dead by the time this comes out because the Welsh guys found us and kicked our heads in. So don't worry about it.
So we've been joking about our hairlines on this podcast for a while. It started with me reaching out and a company called Dents, who provide topical minoxidil and finasteride chemicals that block the stuff that makes you go bald in your head. They started giving us free products. Then, and I really feel like those products were working. I don't think I was losing much hair between us starting this podcast in 2023 and a couple of months ago. But then a hair transplant clinic called Elite Hair reached out and said we'd offer you a free transplant if you wanted to talk about it on your podcast and your social media channels. That was at the end of last year, 2024, and I sort of ummed and ahed. Oh yeah, maybe. God, I've always kind of wanted a hair transplant. Yeah, I'll do that, but I didn't do it
at the time.
I didn't. The offer was on the table, and I just wasn't. I was like, yeah, I'll do it, but I wasn't doing it. Then a mate of mine, Tom Usher, who's a journalist for Joe.co.uk, he's making a documentary about going bald and how he's bald, and he was like, you guys talk about being bald on the podcast even though you're not fucking bald. Do you want to talk on the documentary? Yeah, sweet. And then all 3 things linked up, and Elite Hair were like, if you come here with a documentary crew making a documentary for Joe.co.uk and you talk about it on Screen Rot and your social media channels, we'll give you a bit of money. And at that point I was like, done.
Yeah.
So I went and I've had a hair transplant now, hence the horrific haircut. And we've done a Patreon special about this, but I felt very weird about it, and I didn't, even when the geezer pulled my fringe back and was like, you're going bald all around here, and look, you've lost a bit of hair here, and even then I was like, yeah, I might I don't know if I want you to reupholster my skull. And now I've had it done, and I'm in the recovery. The next couple of months, my hair is going to be shedding. I'm going to look more bald than ever. and it's only really after 6 months that it starts growing back.
Right.
But it has been a thing for much more so in my 20s, and certainly less so in the last few years. But I've always been conscious that I have very fine hair, got a high forehead, and it did start receding. Which I think upset me a bit when I was younger. I think nowadays I care less about. I don't know about you.
I feel like, and this is something that Zeph's life, or whatever it's called, refers to later in
Life as a Zeph.
Life as a Zeph. It's still weird. Like, that's a bit, I don't know. Refers to later in the thing where he's like, oh, people telling me just to go bald. Like, I've already been bald. I was bald when I was 23. And I kind of like, that's hard, I think. Like, I'm 33 now. I'm going to be 34 in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Like, this is a bonus.
We're speaking from a position of privilege in that we're like, yeah, we're going bald. It's like, yeah, well, you're middle-aged men.
Yeah.
I'm a father of 2.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm pissing more in the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm 21. Wait a minute.
The geezer in Turkey was like, yeah, you've lost like an inch. You've receded here and here. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
give me a benchmark.
I was like, do you want me to tell you about my fucking life, mate? He's like, yeah, you've lost some hair. I was like, yeah. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear it? 2 kids, neither of them fucking sleep. My missus is crazy. Not to gaslight, she's fucking mad. I've got 2 jobs. I'm a podcaster. I'm a stand-up comedian.
I should look like Brewdog James.
I was a drug addict for 15 years. I was like, there's been a lot, brother. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you'd fucking recede if you'd lived this life. Yeah. And so you're right. He went bald very young.
Like you say, baldness is a state of mind to a certain extent, and I do feel like I was more bald when I was pushing my hair forward, trying to like an air crash investigator,
to hide
trying to
any
recreate
receding temples.
a hairline.
Now you pull it back.
Yeah, and I feel
Anyone
more
can see your
comfortable.
temple.
Yeah.
And like, I will say we did have a few comments on when I put it on Twitter. People were like, sorry, this podcast got offered a hair transplant and that one took it.
that was the hardest I think I've been mugged off on this podcast, and I get mugged off by the listeners of this podcast every single day. There was another one the other day that just said Jake's a bit of a knob, and I thought that's not bad either.
I don't want to say I enjoyed that one, but it did feel like a bit of fucking balance after we get like you get Jake's a bit of a knob on a YouTube comment. I get a 1-star review on Apple Podcasts with a paragraph about my personality.
And by the way, we're not rattled by any of this. That's the last thing.
We are not rattled, and but I think you're right to say like, because I get like we watch some more.
You wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't have done it without the financial and kind of
no. Well. I definitely wouldn't have paid for it. Even when it was free, I was leaving it on the table, and then even when even being paid for it.
And what also helped was you hadn't researched any of the after effects whatsoever. If you'd known about some of them, you probably wouldn't have got it done either.
Well, and that's what's been. I don't want to say it's been tough. So I really, we filmed like a Patreon special of this podcast like an hour after I got out of surgery. And it's 7 hours of surgery I had for what was a minor hair transplant, right? And I was really like I was shaken up and I was a bit emotional. And the main thing I was emotional about is I was like. So I'm going on. We're recording this 12 days after I've had the hair transplant. Tomorrow I'm going on holiday with my kids, and because it's only like 2 weeks after the transplant, I can't put my head underwater. There's a lot of things I can't do, and my what I was upset about is like I realised I wouldn't be able to go on a water slide with my daughter.
Yeah.
And I genuinely nearly cried. Joe.co.uk has making a documentary about this whole thing, and you can watch it. I do cry about. Not about my head sore, not about, oh my God, I'm going to go bald, about I'm not going to be able to go on a water slide with my little girl.
Yeah.
But so I think that shows you my list of priorities. But at the same time, like, there might be people watching this or who watch that and went, sorry, I've spent $8,000 on a hair transplant of my own money that I saved for 10 fucking years because I was bald. You were not bald. You got given money and a free transplant, and you've got the fucking cheek to sit there crying because you can't go on a slide. You fucking cunt. I want to check my privilege a little bit, but I do have to say, like, and as part of the documentary Joe.co.uk, they introduced me to this guy who runs an Instagram page called Bald Cafe.
Sorry, what?
Right, get on this. I mean, maybe this episode should have been about Bald Cafe. I'd feel bad because I've met the guy.
Right.
And like they filmed me meeting this guy and talking to him. And this guy, he went bald in his like early 20s, this guy.
Yeah.
I think it's Harry who runs this page called Bald Cafe. But the page is all about like encouraging men to take the plunge and just shave their heads.
Yes.
And being like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to hate what
it's
you
just
look
100
like.
pictures of me. It's just every single week it's me.
Screenshots of the tweets being like, sorry, that podcast got a free transplant and he took it. But this guy genuinely does motivational talks with balding men to help them shave their head. And then you've got Life as a Zeph here, who has spent a year like silk hats, fucking derma rollers, chemicals, and it's like I do find the self-pitying nature of, oh my God, I'm going bald, I'm going to do anything to stop going bald. It's like, I'm sorry, fucking grow up. Fucking, sorry.
That's Dr. Hawley's medical opinion.
I know that like men's mental
health. What the fuck are you moaning about? I can't go on a water slide.
No, not that.
I want to go on a water slide.
And I say this, by the way, as someone, I've paid for the medication, like Regain stuff, for fucking years, right? And I'll be continuing to do so after the hair transplant. Right. You have to do that, right? And yeah, I've had a hair transplant. And like, they might be like, well, you're clearly rattled by it. I am a bit. I'm not fucking making YouTubes about it. Like, I'm making a podcast about it. No, but I
was going to say, oh my God.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. I'm not bald. No,
I'm not making YouTubes
but it's not the same. It's not. I'm not sat there being like, guys, here's how I'm gonna like. Well, what? Should we just watch this quickly? Let's just watch this fucking clip. He makes potions in his house.
Yeah.
He's like Dobby the fucking house elf. Watch this.
This is live.
And we can just listen to him. He talks it through.
Water with mint, ginger, and cinnamon. Oh,
He's
you know we gotta
mixing
cut this out. My rosemary plant
rosemary,
recently
mint.
died, so we had to make a quick trip to the store. I also wanted to get some cloves because supposedly they help stimulate the scalp and promote new growth. And of course, the rosemary. I love using this.
Yeah, this
stuff.
is
It's an
proper
anti-inflammatory.
She's got a load of herbs. Rosemary, mint.
Really
Looks like he's
supercharges
making
the
a
hair, brings a
chimichurri.
lot of blood flow to the scalp. I start by putting these in a bowl and rinsing them off.
He's
just to
washing
get
his
any
herbs.
impurities. Then I'm gonna take about 10 cloves and smash them up.
Oh,
I
he's
used
using
cloves
cloves
before,
now.
but last time I used way too much, and it made my
So
hair a little
making a
dry. You
scalp
don't really
cream,
need that
isn't it?
much.
Vanilla,
Ginger has a lot of
vanilla
vitamins and minerals, not only stimulating the scalp, but contributes to restoring moisture. I peel off the outer layer to help it absorb easier. And I couldn't find cinnamon sticks, so I got some ground cinnamon. Basically does the same thing.
This
We're
is
gonna use
nuts.
half.
Now,
This
he's
is
boiling
also
all these herbs and
antifungal to
cinnamon
help
and
with
ginger.
dandruff, and
Yeah, this is
also
bold
stimulates-
stuff.
You're gonna boil 6 cups of water, let it simmer, put your ingredients in there, and wait 20 minutes. Stir on occasion, then let it sit and steep for about 2 hours. I then strain my
steep
rosemary
for 2
water
hours.
into a glass spray bottle, store it up into your fridge for 2
Oh,
or
he's
3
put it in
weeks.
his
I plan to
fridge.
use this in between wash
Great.
days after my workout.
He's
I'm
just
so
spraying his
excited
head
for
with
the
it.
results.
God, that's the worst fucking house share ever. Is you come down to the fridge. Zeph, what's this in the fridge,
That's
mate?
someone's boyfriend. That's someone's boyfriend. Your boyfriend's used the kitchen for an hour to make a rosemary.
Your boyfriend's crushing up cloves in a
Sorry, Soph. Obviously it's not an issue, Zeph, staying around. I have to get to work, and it's just I need to make my breakfast in the morning. And Zeph was steeping his ginger in my pot for 2 hours. I know he's trying to not go bald. He's the baldest man on the fucking.
He's steeping his ginger with Jake Farrelly.
But it's like I'm sorry. I think that's fucking pathetic.
Right.
And that's what like.
But come on. So you're saying
I did it for a laugh. I did it for the podcast. I did it for money. And I swear to you,
I'm still stuck on the idea of you being like, wait, so you've had emotional turmoil since you're 22. You don't feel confident in social situations, but ask yourself this, can you go on a water slide? Yes, you can. Oh, what, you worried about going on a water slide with your daughter? With my daughter? Yes. Yeah, that's what I mean.
it's as someone who spent an hour doing crust removal on his own head this morning
Right.
after. But like I
So
swear.
you're saying this is too far?
I think it's all too far. I don't think I like even I'm in the fucking room. I've got one of the best and Elite Hair. It's an amazing hair clinic, and we do have. And I'm just starting to think now this probably isn't great sponsored content.
Yeah, I was going to say,
like,
how much do they want you to say no one should ever do this?
I'm not saying no one should ever do this, and I guess I'm not saying don't get a hair transplant.
Right.
If it's something that bothers you, go and do it, but shut the fuck up about it.
Right.
Like,
The idea that it's some kind of spiritual or mental health quest is a bridge too far.
Yes, and
Right.
yes, you're not working on yourself.
No.
Stop with that.
You're bald.
Yeah. I was in this clinic in Turkey, and it's like one of the best hair transplant clinics in the. It's got like 250,000 followers on Instagram, right? Elite Hair. It's a big thing, and genuinely, if you're looking at getting a hair transplant, I will say
no free ads. Oh no, it's not a free ad, I guess. Go on. Yeah, sorry.
We're going on about how much I got paid for the last 20
free
minutes.
for me. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're doing all right. We make good content. You got fuck off. No, you can have some of the money if you want. No,
I want some of the hairs. No, go on.
you could have had some.
I'm not going over there.
Elite Hair, it's really good, right? And I was with one of the best fucking hair transplant doctors in the world, right? He's got his own range of products. He's so big. This geezer he's drawing on my head. He's showing me where I've lost some
He's
hair.
drawing on your head.
He's
must be one of the best.
showing my new hairline. He's showing me what he's going to do. He's like, we could do a smaller one, but I want to put more hairs in there so you're going to look good forever. Wow, I'm buzzing. We go down the lift to where I'm about to get dressed ready for my procedure. I swear on my fucking life, I nearly walked out the lift.
And just kept walking.
And just got in my hotel room, locked the door, and I was just going to call my agent Jack and be like, this is no. Like, they say, apologise profusely to them.
So what you're saying is...
We'll book our own flights. I'll go home. They can keep the money. We'll say we're serious. Because there was a part of me going, and this is insane. Like I'm going bald. Yeah, I've got 2 kids. I'm nearly 35. Like, yeah, I should be.
Yeah.
And it is great that due to, and I guess the thing is, I was like, in this clinic, I thought I'd be the least bald guy there. I thought it'd be me and then a load of like really bald guys. I'd be like, you lot, right? There was fucking like 22-year-old German kids who I swear on my life had like perfect heads of hair, but they were just getting like an extra centimetre added at the front. And I'm looking at these German kids being like, the money you must have to be doing this. But you know what? If you've got the money, if you're insecure about it, fucking do it.
Right.
Do it. Like absolutely do it. And do check out the link in the bio, Elite Hair. You will get a little discount, right? But I like, do you know what it reminds me of? And this is a crazy analogy that I'm almost...
You? Making a crazy analogy?
You know, sometimes you hear like, why not? You know, sometimes we hear like victims of like sexual assault.
Fuck me. Are you
just listen. But what will happen is they'll be like, why didn't they come forward? And people will say, I didn't want to be defined by that. Yeah.
Right.
And I find that such an interesting thing to consider, because it's like, it makes you go, what a fucking horrific thing that person did to you. That even by explaining that happened to you, you'd be defined by it. And you shouldn't be defined by it, but I understand why people feel that way.
Yes.
Like, why are you defining yourself as the baldest man in the world on TikTok? If you don't want to be bald, shut the fuck up about how bald you are, get a hair transplant and disappear.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. So it's a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy for him where he's so concerned about being perceived as a bald man.
Yeah.
That's what he's ultimately most scared of. He has now made himself, even if somehow, just by a miracle, tomorrow, his hair were to start regrowing and he looked like... he looked like David Beckham by the end of the week. Yeah, everyone would still be like, "You're the bald guy from Instagram."
Exactly. It's like comedians see this, and you'll spot this with comedians. When they're doing like a tour show, or if they've got a DVD, it'll be called like Jimmy Carr crushing, because what he's hoping is that when reviewers write about it, they go, "Jimmy Carr really is crushing," and you go, "What, Jimmy?" Like in your head, you go, "Oh, what, the guy who's always crushing?" Like Jimmy Carr, he crushes, like, right? Whereas like if you're Zeph. Like, I know he's called Life as a Zeph, but it's like, he's just bald Zeph. And he has had a hair transplant now. He will always be bald Zeph. And it, like, I don't know. It's obviously like an exclusively male thing, really, losing your hair. There are women, but it's mainly a male.
Probably much harder if you're a woman, I think.
Well, but then I just think women go through much harder stuff. I do think...
Where's the wisdom bell when you need it, brother?
Yeah. Sorry. Anyone mind if a white boy goes a little woke for a minute? Anyone mind if a white boy speaks a little woke?
Anyone
mind if a white boy points out that sexual assault victims are actually really brave and that women go through harder stuff than men sometimes?
And it turned out we were the guiltiest feminists of them all. All along.
But then, like, honestly, when I'm sat there being interviewed by this bald cafe guy who's like, yeah, I just help guys get bald, I'm like, fucking come on, like, we lose our hair, who cares?
What do you think it, because like there's been plenty of examples over the years of, like, I guess famously Bruce Willis and Jason Statham are the ones that people often refer to as very good looking, kind of powerful, famous men. They're bald, they kind of own it. So that stigma has gone somewhat, right? You don't see the toupee so much anymore.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, well, you do actually with this with bald Zeph. You don't see the Bobby Charlton so much anymore, where you're scraping across the six strands.
But I'll tell you what, I really like that.
The Bobby Charlton?
So what's his name, White Lotus? Is it Goggins?
Goggins hasn't got a Bobby Charlton.
No, but he's got a receding hairline.
And he's bald at the back. Yeah.
And he's mucking around with it a bit.
Yeah, he's just gone long back and sides.
Like, I like balding guys who don't shave their heads. I think that's fucking sick. Jude Law, exactly the same.
Yes.
I think it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
And you know the most fucking incredible thing? Women genuinely don't notice.
Yeah, I guess we had this conversation with Ava when she was on the show.
And this is a thing. Like, my missus...
Women won't notice this because all 6 women that listen to this have already switched off by now. 45 minutes into the hair
I don't think so. After I said that women go through harder stuff than men, and I think sexual assault victims are really
They must have thought they were listening to Fee and Jane or something.
Bear in mind, I'm a sex worker.
Yes. Yeah, you are a sex worker.
If you want to silence sex workers, then turn this podcast off. If you want to listen to...
If you want to listen to sex workers, listen to the Screen Off podcast.
But I can't remember what I was saying. What was I saying?
Women don't notice.
They don't notice.
That was your claim.
And yeah, this is the thing. We had Ava Santino, brilliant, very funny, also journalist, politics show. She came on the show, and with both of us, she was like, "I don't think you're going bald." My miss would be like, "You're going bald." Like other girls I'm friends with, like, I can't see it.
Emma and her tennis instructor, they constantly tell me that I'm not going bald. I mean, she sees him 4 or 5 times a week, so she would know.
Whilst you're sat gratefully on the cuck chair.
Yeah, Greg and Emma say that I'm absolutely fine. So I don't know. What the fuck is that? Shut the fuck up, idiot! I wasn't implying I was in the room. You fucking twat!
You're fine, Jake.
Shut up! Shut up! That's horrible. That's the worst thing you've ever done.
I think this studio has sent us wrong.
Sent us wrong.
I think it's made
Great.
us worse.
God, I was implying that she was having an affair with the tennis instructor. You didn't need to do that. That's horrible stuff.
We're not cutting it. This is the first episode of adverts, and I've just mimed your missus getting shagged by Surfshark VPN, by the way. Do check out Surfshark VPN.
Surfshark.
No, it's good. It's really good. If you don't want people to know you've listened to this podcast, make sure you plug into Surfshark VPN.
I think that's I'm not sure.
I still think though. You know when like Ava was in the studio with us and she was like, I don't think. In my head, I think it's a conspiracy. I think they've all spoken to each other.
Who?
Just women.
The women.
I think they've all, genuinely. I in my head when she said that, I was like, Alana's put her up to this.
What do you mean?
No, I think my girlfriend must have spoken to her beforehand and been like, if he mentions his hairline, tell him he's
What's
not going
what's the purpose of the conspiracy?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I've broken my head.
We're not allowed back. That's it.
Oh my god. What are you talking about?
They might be against elite hair. Women might be against elite hair. We're not, by the way.
The purpose of the conspiracy is like make you feel like a good boy. The entire female population.
Stop you making fucking TikToks. That's
it.
This I tell you fucking now.
Right.
You ask any women. If any of our listeners have met a woman, try asking them this. Right? Show them that video of him spraying a fucking. His head must smell like a roast dinner. Rosemary. Fucking gravy, him spraying that on his fucking bonds, or just him bald. Pick the ick.
Yeah.
Pick the ick. It's the fucking roast dinner head.
I'm Jacob Hawley and welcome to Pick the Ick.
Welcome to Pick the Ick.
Coming soon to Spotify Studios.
We're not coming back to Spotify after this. Fucking hell. Right, let's watch the next clip. Basically, we can watch. He gets a fucking wig at one point. I almost don't want to watch him get the wig. It's fucking. Let's watch a bit of it.
Way to build anticipation for the clip.
no, but it's a good clip. It's crazy.
So
He's got a fucking wig.
So this is Life as a Zeph getting a. This is a really high end wig. So he's getting what little hair he does have shaved off in the middle. Benson Boone on the track, good stuff. So this is like a permanent wig, right? So it's like you don't take it off even in the shower or anything.
Yeah, it's waterproof.
So he's getting it glued to his bald bonds. Presumably he was paid to do this as well.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Not sure how much more of this we really need. He looks like a man with a wig. It's an odd song choice. Again, it's that vibe of like, this is a personal quest of something. There he is, finished product. He looks like Tom Garrett, that YouTuber.
Turn it off. I've just realised there's a chance that Elite Hair, the hair transplant clinic,
do wigs.
They'll watch this. Well, they'll watch this and they'll listen to the fucking bollocks we've come out with. And they'll be watching this and they'll go, we should have just got fucking Life as a Zeph to do it. We should have just got.
What were we asking this idiot to do?
Because he like, as you say, it's the emotional music. It's the it's the shots of him for audio listeners. He's sort of like looking up at the woman who's just put the wig on, be like, oh my god, wow, look at it in the mirror, be like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I can't hear it. And it's like, it's fucking pathetic.
It's very strange. And
it's like I to reaffirm my position. If you're insecure about your hair, try minoxidil, try finasteride, use Dents, Jacob 30 at checkout. It does fucking work, right? And get a hair transplant. Go to Elite Hair if you want, but don't act like it's fucking Disney when you finally got a fringe again. Don't act like you're my confidence is saved. Fuck off. Sort your life. Like oh, I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
there's a guy I know who's like, he's just turned 40, and him and his missus just been to Ibiza, and they're like, he's taking pictures of himself and his missus in Ibiza, and they're like, it's my 40th, I'm fucking, and this is pure jealousy, me saying this, but I'm like, you need to die an ego death. And I showed, me and my missus, I was laying in bed, the kids driving, they've been driving us mad all day. And I lay in bed with myself, like, look, he's in Ushuaia with his missus. They're drinking cocktails. They're going to go to High, which is one of my favourite clubs in Ibiza. It's got like a DJ booth in the toilet. I was like, they're going to go to the toilet at High. It's one of my favourite bits in Ibiza.
So it's got a DJ booth in the toilet?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The toilet has got the toilet to dance floor. So like, there's literally cubicles along the walls, and then in the middle where the tap for washing your hands has been replaced by a DJ in a booth.
And that's a good thing?
Yeah, it's class. It's really good. We'll go one day.
So why? So
there'll be people listening to this who've been to High.
Right.
Glitterbox. It's fucking great. That toilet is the best toilet in the world.
Okay, so I think some of the substances that people often consume in Ibiza lead to. They might even involve some substances that make you use the bathroom more frequently, right?
Oh, well, like shitting.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Is that what you meant?
Yes, cocaine is cut with laxative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can just remove all subtext from the podcast as well if you want. You already mind my missus getting shagged by someone else. Yeah, great. And so there's presumably a queues of people that are like, I'm about to go in there and do a cocaine-induced shit. And you're going to be able to tell that because you're all just outside where I'm about to absolutely destroy this toilet just with some deep house. Like,
you've got the wrong mindset.
What do you mean? Well, I've got the wrong mindset because I don't want people to be dancing outside the cubicle while I'm fucking taking a shit.
It's not about, you just don't think about stuff like that. You're in a Ibiza.
What do you mean you don't think about stuff like that? I think about that all the time.
Happening, you just don't think about it. You just dance.
That's literally like an anxiety dream.
Right, okay. But so this is my point.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
Have you taken a shit?
I can't remember. Maybe.
Right.
I don't know. You're not thinking about it.
I am.
But this is my point, because you have died an ego death. You are not thinking about your image. You are not thinking about that. You are thinking about the real life consequences of needing to do a dump in a toilet. And this is my point about a lot of, like, my mate who's celebrating his 40th in Ibiza. I'm like, me and my missus, I showed her the picture. She was like, they need to have a fucking kid. And I was like, yes, God needs to send them a child to fucking humble them, to show them that there are more important things than them and their pursuits of enjoyment and drugs and happiness. So, like, your guts have done that to you rather than you. Your mild IBS has given you an ego death, and life as a fucking Zeph. He needs a kid.
Not everyone's looking at you. Not everyone's worried about what you're doing.
The water slide is more important than your fringe. That's what he needs to realise.
Yes.
The water slide is more important than his fringe. No one gives a shit. And in this final clip, and I think this is the key to being a good TikToker. You have to get rattled by the comments, because so many good TikTokers. Do you remember we did Mad Mike being mad?
Yeah.
The guy did gear.
Yeah, another questionable one.
Yeah. I mean that was really bad actually, but he is good on TikTok.
Right.
Because he just makes front-facing camera videos responding to comments all the time. And then obviously that drives engagement, because everyone's like, well, I'm going to comment now because you replied to me. And then he does. It's just ongoing.
Unlike us, because we don't do that. We're not rattled by any of the comments ever.
No, we're just so rattled by it that we pay Eugene to do it for us. We pay him hundreds of pounds every month so we won't see them. But life as a Zeph, so the comment that he's responding to is someone, bro actually pulls off bald, but wants hair.
So ostensibly a compliment.
It's a compliment, but it's going, why the fuck are you doing this? You look good bald. Why are you spending years, loads of money, loads of effort trying to have hair? And like I say, he's kind of got hair. It looks like someone's exhaled after smugging a cigarette over the top of his head, right?
It would have been a lot easier if we just didn't do this podcast and just put that comment up instead. That's what you've been saying for the last hour.
Yeah. But let's watch it. Let's watch his response to bro actually pulls off bald but wants hair.
So it's pretty clear to me that most of you guys think I look better this way, bald with no hair. I have a huge emotional disconnect on this app because a lot of people don't know what it's like to lose a bunch of hair and rock the bald look by the time you're 23. And the only reason I'm comfortable on this app posting about my hair content, posting about my hair journey is because I rocked the bald look for 3 years and I finally accepted losing my hair and going bald. And once you're on the other side of that hair loss, you're like, finally, I accepted myself. Yeah, it sucked to lose hair, but I'm good now. And this all makes sense logically. Like, if you look better without hair, why not just shave it off and rock the bald look for the rest of your life? I don't want to rock the same haircut the rest of my life. I'm still really young. If I'm balder in my mid 30s into my 40s, I'm not going to care.
Hey,
not logically, but emotionally, I owe it to a younger version of myself to see what it'd be like to have hair one more time. At the end of the day, it comes down to you being happy with you and being comfortable in your own skin. The effort that I put into myself and into my hair has brought me confidence. I still have a couple more things to try to see if I can get hair back and to see if it boosts my confidence, see if it looks better. And if I don't have hair later in my life, it is what it is.
Now, after watching that, do you see, I don't think I'm articulating myself well. I don't have a problem with anyone treating hair loss. I don't have a problem with anyone being bothered by hair loss. I don't like the Meghan Markleification of the quote-unquote journey of getting your hair back.
I agree. I completely agree.
Do you understand?
I don't agree. I don't like the Meghan Markleification of our entire lives.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle has somehow made being one of the wealthiest women on earth into some kind of intense trial.
Oh, it's like a Cinderella story.
Yeah.
How I survived marrying a prince.
And it looks like, I mean, it sounds like she did experience some at least kind of casual racism during her time within the royal family.
This is not to sound unsympathetic towards how unpleasant that must have been.
Yeah, that aside, like, so once she's experienced that, that's really horrible. And like this lifestyle after it, though, she seems to have imposed, like, they've done what I think they should do, which is completely disconnect themselves from that part of the family, go and live in California, and just like make spunk on or whatever it is she does.
So now, shut the fuck up.
Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. You've sold out all the merch. Everyone loves the Netflix show. And just get on with it. I don't know, but there's still this kind of imposition of this, like you say, everyone wants to have the underdog victim story. I think in some, I probably have been guilty of that in my comedy at times.
Oh,
actually.
I'd say we both have.
Yeah,
I'd say we both have, because I think, and it's sort of like, I don't want to go too fucking deep, but it's almost the nature of performance,
right?
It's and I think I've learned a lesson in like 10 years of being a comedian. You don't need an arc.
Yeah.
You know that bit in The Sopranos where Chris is like, "Where's my arc?"
Yeah.
You don't need a fucking arc.
I think the culture is broadly less interested in that now. When we were kind of growing up or first starting comedy, the show needed to have that arc and needed to have that.
Every show did. Not just stand-up shows.
Yes.
Theatre, television. Like 5-10 years ago, there was this whole thing of every sitcom had to have a tragic bit. Had to have like, I don't know, for some reason in episode 4 of 6, someone gets run over.
Yeah.
And everyone has to just cope with that, and we have to cry for a bit. Why? Like, and I think this is a nice thing about what's happened with comedy, with like podcasts like the podcasts that are doing really well in the UK of like, I think of like Mike and Victoria, and we've got Mike coming on next week, and Finn Taylor doing really well with all that sort of stuff. And
there's no arcs in that shit.
There's no arcs. No. There's no pathos. The's no emotional sincerity.
No.
It's just be fucking daft and silly and fuck around.
Do you think that's a reaction to their being?
I've just realised that I nearly cried on camera 2 Patreon episodes ago.
No, but you were crying about you were. Yeah.
It's maybe a more worthy thing that I don't want to call my tears worthy, but I was upset about how I had divided my time as a parent.
Yes.
And how I had prioritised my resources of my energy and my availability closer to work or vanity, away from my kids who I love.
That is a really tough thing. I think if
I will say, I had dads messaging me being like, I think about this every day. I felt that dad guilt. Yeah. I felt the dad guilt.
That is fucking hard. I mean, if the hardest thing that's ever happened to you though is that you're bald, you're fine.
Yeah. And that's where I struggle with this content. I like Life as a Zeph. I've been watching fucking loads of it because, like, if you've had a hair transplant and you want to know how to recover,
you're getting some Zeph.
Mate, he will fucking tell you what to do. He's filmed every fucking second of it. But what I don't like is the kind of worthy, teary tone of like, this is my journey to being the person I want to be. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And I think this is a British thing. This is like this is the LA equivalent. Like, he is, I'd say there's probably less than 200 people on the planet who've had a SponCon hair transplant.
I think I'd agree with that. That might be the first thing you've said a day that I agree with, actually.
And me and Life as a Zeph are two of those 200.
Yeah.
And I would say on a sliding scale of a London, British, it's all a laugh in it. I might cry about me kids, but nah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm there. Whereas the fucking LA side of like, this is my journey to being the person I want to be is there. And let me say, it makes me feel fucking sick. It makes me feel fucking sick.
So there'll never be an arc on Screen Rot. There'll never be a.
Do you think there's an arc in our work? Do you think there's anything we've learned over nearly 2 years of podcasting? Have we developed? Have our
No.
characters changed?
I think the Larry David mantra for Seinfeld, which I haven't really watched actually, was no hugs and no learning. And I think that that could be ours. Still a handshake every time we meet. No learning. Talk
Little
about
handshake, no eye contact. You know, I'll politely remind you to spend some money on the joint card because I accidentally bought my T-shirt the other day, and we carry on like that. Every now and then, I will impersonate your wife being shagged by a tennis instructor, and you will genuinely consider cutting that out. And otherwise, we just mooch along. We're glad that you mooch along with us. Do check out Surfshark VPN. It's the best way to browse the internet for whatever it is. What?
Surfshark.
Surfshark if you want as well, but make sure if you're browsing the internet, you use those guys so that no one can see the dirty, horrible things you're watching, like Life as a Zeph. Thanks for sticking with us, Rotters. We love you so much, and I can't wait to see you in 7 months' time with my beautiful new fringe as I become the person I want to be.
Up the Rotters.